Hi, I'm Dr. Philip Shero, and let's take a few minutes to talk about why good leaders at good companies still struggle to get all their people moving in the same direction on the same page. And actually, here's my notes for today. I love whiteboards, so we're just going to walk through what's on this. And I want to start off with what is the hardest part about strategic planning? Is it stopping work long enough to make time to pull away and plan? Is it coming up with the right path or the best plan to get to the future? Is it getting buy-in from everybody so that they agree with the plan and support it? Or is it execution? Actually, I find all four of those are trouble spots for good leaders at good companies. So let's talk about, well, what's the business impact if we fail to do any of those four? Well, you can figure out for yourself. If you never stop fighting fires, you never pull away from the business to get the big picture view, you're going to be a reactive company rather than a proactive company. You're going to be driven around with lots of ideas that pop up or things that you chase, but no concerted plan, and you'll have a really difficult time getting everybody on board. If you don't come up with the right plan or a good plan, then you can spend time and energy and money moving in the wrong direction and not accomplishing what is going to be the best success for you. If you don't have buy-in and support, how many leaders have come to me frustrated with the fact that their people are not moving in the same direction, that there's silos or folks are chasing their pet projects or protecting their results and not thinking about the big picture and supporting the plan. And everybody struggles with execution. You can have the best plan in the world, you can have a nice thick 3-ring binder and still not be able to implement and execute that plan. So all four of these create financial and people casualties for a business. Well, if you had to pick which one you wanted to focus on to solve, which one would it be? Would it be making the time, creating the right plan, getting buy-in, or executing and implementing that plan? Well, to me, I don't like that choice. I want to solve all of them. I want to address all of these things. And that's what we do through our post strategic planning and business operating system. So I want to tell you a little bit about how this plan works and really why it works. And if I can, let me start with a story. Several years ago, our family was living in Uganda, East Africa, and I was responsible for building and launching a new university from scratch up to fully running and operating. And when I told people about this project, they said, where do you find people to do this kind of work? The reality was, it was very difficult to find good people because living and working in a developing country, there were so many things that disrupted the talent pool. The highly educated and talented people were pulled away to other countries where they could get better pay. There was so much corruption and there was lack of education and business preparation that the talent pool was not very deep. So what we had to do is figure out a way to succeed with ordinary people. We didn't have the luxury of going out and getting the best of the best. We had to succeed with the people we had. And I found that the key to doing that was a healthy blend of engagement and accountability. We were able to inspire and engage ordinary people to do far more than they thought they could do and to accomplish things together as a unit. They truly were bought into the mission and the vision of the university and gave more effort than anyone would have expected. But we also created systems and processes that built in accountability so that no one wanted to let down their coworkers. Everyone wanted to pull their load. They didn't want to be the weak spot in moving towards this mission. And with those systems, together with the engagement side, we were able to achieve almost impossible results on the ground there in East Africa. And we've taken this same process and approach and baked it into our strategic planning process. We put people and process, engagement and accountability together in one system that's easy to use. Now, how does this work? Well, there are two documents that form the foundation of the POST process. And by the way, POST stands for purpose, objectives, strategy, and tracking. It's a way of creating a strategic line of sight from the big picture of the mission and the vision down to what do we want to accomplish in the next 3 years? What are the mountains we're trying to climb? What are the big things we want to solve or achieve? Those are our objectives. Down to the how are we going to tackle that quarter by quarter in 90-day sprints? How are we going to eat this elephant, chop up our big objectives into achievable pieces? And how are we going to measure that is the tracking. That's the how much, the buy when, it's the KPIs. It's who owns this strategy, who owns the big objective, and who owns the strategies each quarter or the pieces that we've divided it up into. And through PO, S&T, we create a line of sight from the big picture to the daily and the weekly grind of what needs to happen. And that all comes together in 2 documents. The top level post document is for the whole organization, and that fits on about 7 pages. It's not a 1 or a 2-page strategic plan, but neither is it a 30-page strategic plan. It's about 7 pages, and it captures those top objectives, the annual milestones that show we're making progress. And then for 12 months at a time, it identifies the key strategies that we think will produce the results or move us forward with their owners and their measurables. That's the top level post for the company. But then when this process is fully implemented, every employee will end up with their own 1-page strategic plan. And that's the second document. That's one of the ways that we create the engagement, is because every employee creates their own annual strategic plan, and there are direct ties from their goals and their plan, including their personal development goals, to what the organization is trying to achieve. So these 2 documents are linked together. And it's a process that takes some time before you get to every single employee having that. In the first year, it's just your leadership. And then you move down to your middle management. And then you end up with all of your employees being included. But the process all the way at the top includes the whole organization in building the plan. We walk through a couple of key approaches that help us hear the voice of every employee, then create a planning team that is a cross-section of the organization laterally and in depth, so that we have representatives from the whole organization involved in the planning. It's not just a few people that go away for a retreat and sort of come back with this magical plan that they want to roll out and have everyone salute. Instead, all the voices are heard. There's a survey or a town hall or a combination of those that gets everyone involved, then a cross-sectional planning team, and then a report back to the entire organization on, we heard you, this is what we developed, this is what we're going for, so that we create that buy-in. And then the implementation comes when each person has their own 1-page post. This is the approach that we've found so much success with. And because we facilitate this, we help companies solve that problem of not having time, because we set those dates, pull the people together, we facilitate so they can be fully engaged participants and they don't have to switch hats to be the leader or setting aside this time. We're helping them do that. And we help them come up with the right plan because they're listening to the people who are going to be executing at all the different levels. And all that is taken into account. We don't have an unrealistic or an overly ambitious plan. We have an achievable plan with problems being solved at the right levels. And we have tools and techniques that help them top up their goal setting skills. The third problem of buy-in, people buy into something they've participated in creating. If you just hand them a quota or a plan or a path, there's going to be initial resistance because you didn't ask me and I wasn't part of this. But when you engage the whole organization into planning, buy-in goes way up. And then through our process of quarterly business reviews at the organization level and quarterly post-document reviews that happen throughout the organization in formal and informal team and manager meetings, as well as annual employee performance reviews, that second document creates a cadence for accountability. So you have individual accountability and you have corporate and leadership accountability that really produces those results of execution. And along the way, the plan is constantly kept fresh by quarterly review of what has been working and what hasn't been working. Where are we falling behind and need to add resources, or where are we moving ahead and we can actually accelerate further toward our goals? What strategies need to be adapted because of the changing environment? All of that is baked into the process. I invite you to download the Post ebook, which will walk you through more details of how this process works, and have a conversation with us to hear about some of the results that companies have achieved using this, including one company that grew from 25 million to 100 million in revenue using this process, or another company that went from 87 million to 200 million using this process. And they will report and tell you that everyone was engaged in the process, and that's how they got the results. It wasn't the magical facilitators, it was their ordinary people doing extraordinary things to achieve those results. Hope you'll have a conversation with us and download our resources. We're happy to talk to you about how this process can help you lead your company to greatness.